Be good and look at the camera then.
Hello and welcome to everybody who's joined us so far. We'll be getting started in just a few moments. Okay, hello and welcome to the FNS40217 Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping Student Information Session. We're very excited to have you here tonight, and joining me I have our Chief Academic and Executive Officer, Iona McKinney. Iona, welcome.
Hi James, hello everybody that's attending tonight. Really great to
tech guys, frankly. So, you know, that's one of the reasons.
Excellent. And also joining us at some point throughout the this evening's presentation will be the founder of Mentor Education, Dr. Mark Sinclair. Looking forward to getting some insight from him on the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping. Now, the way we'll run tonight is we'll actually go through the course itself. We'll look at things including course outcomes, what's involved in the course, what online learning looks like, and some of the features and functions and online learning management systems that are available to students. If you do have any questions, please feel free to submit them to me via the chat function in Zoom, and I'll do my very best to put them to the panel for you throughout tonight's presentation. And also there will be some room at the end for you to ask any questions as well. So I dare say we will answer most of them for you along the way, but we always miss one or two here or there. So certainly keep them ready till the very end, but if there's something that comes up and you'd like me to ask straight away, certainly feel free to do so. Okay, well, let's get underway and let's have a look at an overview of the course itself. Iona, I'm going to hand on over to you.
Thanks, James. Let me introduce the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping to you all. So the course is actually for people who are wanting to do a range of things as far as bookkeeping tasks are concerned. And so it might be for people who are wanting to run their own business and provide a bookkeeping and accounting service. It might be for small business owners who want to know more about how to actually manage their financial transactions for their business and create reports and prepare their business activity statements for lodgement with the ATO. It could actually be for people who work in specific roles within accounting and bookkeeping and businesses. It might be somebody who's a manager who wants to learn more about accounting and bookkeeping and what makes up all those things that create all those reports. So the course itself actually addresses a wide range of bookkeeping and accounting skills, and that includes preparing those financial reports. As I mentioned before, completing and preparing business activity and installment activity statements for ATO and statutory reporting. Managing ledgers, which is important, and it addresses cloud computing, which some organizations now use online accounting software to do a range of things. So we actually look at that in the course and the differences between hosting software locally yourself and managing your own software and using cloud computing solutions. And of course, one of the most integral tasks that we do as an accountant or as a bookkeeper, which is processing all those financial transactions. And that includes our accounts payable, so our suppliers and our supplier invoices. It includes our accounts receivable, so the people that we sell things to and we refer to as our debtors. It also includes bank reconciliations and processing and doing those reconciliations, a wider range of reconciliations as well to create those reports. And there's some really great outcomes for people that do this course, because they're able to hold what is not only just the nationally recognised accounting and bookkeeping qualification from the that's a nationally accredited course, but they're also able to register with the Tax Practitioner Board to actually become a BAS agent. So a BAS agent, once registered, can actually lodge business activity statements on behalf of another business. So if for those people who may be looking at starting their own accounting and bookkeeping consultancy or business, it's very, very important to be able to provide a full range of services. And that BAS agent registration is integral to do that. It might be a person who's working with an organisation that is made up of a number of small companies. So they may need to prepare and lodge BAS statements on behalf of a small group of companies, for example, or business units. And also throughout the course, we use MYOB. So MYOB, believe it or not, stands for Mind Your Own Business. So that's one of the reasons why we actually do utilise MYOB throughout the course, is because it is specific to business, and it's in most accounting software is, but it actually takes our accounting to, if you like, a broader level or a wider level of management. So the course is, as we've mentioned before, as I mentioned before, it actually incorporates a broad range of accounting and bookkeeping skills, preparing people to actually go out there into the workplace and to actually be able to sit in their bookkeeper's chair, for example, and do the tasks that are required for the roles.
Excellent. So the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping really is, I suppose, the first and most crucial step, education and qualification-wise, towards becoming a professional accountant and bookkeeper. And,
yeah.
And look, probably without going into too much detail, because we will touch on it in some of, I suppose, the job roles, job outlook, but it does lend itself to sort of positions which can be full-time, but also flexible, you know, and really work with so many students.
Sorry, James, I've got a little bit of a delay here, so I apologise, and I apologise to everybody that's attending. Forgive my bad manners. Yes, one of the great things about working in this area and in this industry is that flexibility component and that portability component as well. As we move to more online management of our businesses and our accounting processes, the ability to be able to not just have to work on site and in one place is very important to us. The other thing is that we have lives, and we find that a lot of our students in this course in particular have other commitments in their life. So there may be family commitments, they may be running a family business, it might be a small business, so they do a mix of roles. And they need the flexibility of being able to adjust their work hours to suit whatever's going on, you know, in their lives. And working in accounting and bookkeeping actually does support being able to do that. So that flexibility is really important. And this course, I suppose we'll talk in a moment, I'm sure, about industry recognition and industry memberships as well. So this course actually does provide for people who've completed the course to be able to have or enjoy that flexibility, because there is such a wide range of roles available out there for people that have completed this course in particular. Yeah.
So let's do a bit of a dive into the course outline itself and some of the subjects that are involved. And perhaps you could provide us with a little bit of insight as to why those particular subjects are there, and I think why they're really pertinent and valuable skill sets, certainly of the accounting and bookkeeping jobs, you know, that are happening right now and are expected to happen well into the future.
So the course is really structured in such a way that it provides a good foundation for people to be able to do real things in a bookkeeping and accounting role. And when I say real things, I mean things like prepare reports, Most businesses have reporting requirements that they use for discussions. They might use them for reporting to a management committee. Excuse me, please. They might just want to be tracking where they're at, you know, what their profit was last month. Did they make any loss? You know, what products sold the most? So we look at preparing financial reports. So those management accounting reports are incredibly important to all business. Cloud computing, as I talked about before, when we're using accounting software for any business, a business will make a conscious choice whether they actually host that software locally or whether they use a cloud computing solution, which would be MyOb Online. It might be Xero or a number of others. But they have different capacities than our locally hosted accounting software, so we explore that. Processing financial transactions and extracting interim reports is about reconciliations and why we do reconciliations. We, of course, have to manage our chart of accounts because that's how we sort all of our transactions out, or our financial transactions out, so we can generate those reports. It's also how we, it's also where the information for everything concerning our business is actually hosted and held. Working effectively in the accounting and bookkeeping industry, we explore our codes of practice and we explore what makes us effective as accountants and bookkeepers. And all of those little hints and tricks, like how do we maintain our professional education standard? And what are the requirements for our continuing professional education? The different codes of practice, everything from the banking code of practice through to the code of practice for bookkeepers. So there's a range of things. And the accounting standards. Everything we do in accounting and bookkeeping is based on a set of standards. And so those accounting standards are incredibly important. So we also explore that. One of the integral things for any bookkeeper or accountant as we work with clients over time, whether we're working in a practice or whether we're working for a business, is at some point we will need to set up and operate an accounting system for a business. And so we look at that too. Again, BAS preparation and of course payroll. Payroll management is something that is integral to a lot of bookkeeping and accounting roles. So that's also included in the course. The other units which are about managing our personal work priorities, our professional development, which again, we actually dive deeper into professional education and continuing professional education. And of course, performing financial calculations. We can learn how to do all of these wonderful things as far as being an accountant and bookkeeper is concerned, but we must learn how to do the sums first. So, of course, we go through this unit that's called Perform Financial Calculations, which actually introduces a range of accounting calculations and transaction calculations that you will need to know how to do. So how do you do a cost benefit analysis, or how do you work out what the what's known as the JIT cost of production of an item is concerned, so on and so forth. It all sounds like soup at the moment, doesn't it? And really fancy words, but we go through that in the course and we actually develop that knowledge as well, and we practice it all the way through. So it's a very wide-ranging course, as we've said, and we know that all of these things are required by industry as we talk to industry associations and we talk to prospective employers. So the course in itself and the way it's constructed actually provides students with the ability to, as I said before, step into those work roles and take on those work roles.
Excellent. So, I mean, there really is a breadth and a broad range of subjects there. So, I mean, this particular course, whilst it can specialise in that, I suppose, accounting and bookkeeping space, I mean, there's enough breadth in subjects that, I mean, there's really just kind of fundamental elements of accounting and business that can be applied in so many different scenarios, but also lots of different industries as well. I mean, I think this is one thing we haven't mentioned, and I don't want to give too much away, but we did have a question actually come in, and It was from somebody who's watching, and I think we might answer it in this particular slide, but before we do, perhaps you could provide us a little bit of insight, Iona, and the applications of the accounting and bookkeeping qualification. I mean, is it just general business, or are there specialised roles such as a payroll officer that it could apply to?
Oh, most definitely. With any business, we have transactions that we have to record, we have to process, we have to evidence, we have to record, and we have to report on. That is the basis of accounting and bookkeeping. But having said that, there's a wide range of areas in any business that those transactions occur in. So, for example, a payroll. We'll be processing timesheets, we'll be calculating hourly rates, we'll be applying tax, calculating superannuation. Depending on how the payroll's managed, it might be a bureau payroll. So we batch everything and we send it off to somebody to process it for us, but we have to reconcile all of that before it happens. There's other things that we must do as part of every role across industry. So accounts payable officers, for example, are responsible for managing the suppliers and the supply of goods to any business. And accounts payable sounds quite straightforward and really simple, but it actually takes into account inventory management. It takes into account supply contracts and terms of supply. And it takes into account all of those reconciliations. With accounts payable, we also look at logistics. So how do we source those materials? How do we receive those materials? How do we make sure we've got them on time? And so on and so forth. So the course includes elements of all of those things as well. With an accounts receivable officer, so that's about working with our clients and our customers. Now, there's a range of different ways that we work with our clients and our customers. So we might have people who purchase something on a retail basis. We might actually provide consultancy services, but they're still billable things. So it's about, again, it's about those specific things. Management of terms and conditions. Debtor management, which is always a big thing. If we have 30 out of 50 clients who aren't paying our invoices on time, it puts our business at risk. So it's also about that risk management element. Accounts assistants. We often have people who work in accounts and administrative support roles. So they receive the invoices and create the invoices for clients, and they ensure that those are sent out, and they follow up people that haven't paid, for example. So there's a whole range of things that we do in this course, which provides opportunities for people not just to develop a narrow range of skills, but a really broad range of skills. And bank reconciliations are always important. We need to know that, you know, our bank balance is correct, and we need to know what our revenue sources are and what our cash flow is. So those range of jobs are often put together when they do labour market analysis and they create the job outlook figures, and they put those they lump them into, you know, accounting and bookkeeping. So the job outlook for this industry is really quite high. We're looking at around about 84,000 job openings that are expected to be available in the next 5 years, and that's nationally. And with an average salary of around about 60K per annum or 60,000 per annum. Having said that, the industry and the demand for industry may actually grow because of our changing marketplace as well. So those numbers that we've actually given here is 9.7% may actually be conservative, with a number of infrastructure projects opening up, number of opportunities for in the manufacturing industry examples, civil engineering, construction. There is always a requirement for accountants and bookkeepers in those industries and in those large projects, and administrative officers, payroll officers, so on and so forth. So the outlook for people, based on our labour market analysis provided to us by the ABS or Australian Bureau of Statistics, is very, very positive.
Excellent, thanks, Iona. Look, I'm going to take this opportunity to get a little bit of insight from Mark, who's with us now, on I think that the value of the accounting and bookkeeping role to an organisation. I mean, even talking to the idea of if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And then from there, I mean, where is this demand for accounting and bookkeeping type roles going to come from? Probably at a bit of a macro kind of high level over the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, thanks, James. Look, accounting and bookkeeping is a fundamental skill to any leadership role in an organisation, but not just that, to just about any role, because if you're working in an organisation, you might be interested in implementing a operational budget for a team. You might have even if you're a small team of half a dozen or a dozen people, if you're aspiring to be a team leader or just want to work effectively in that team, then basic accounting and bookkeeping skills are important for a whole range of different reasons. And it could be just making sure that you're on top of bad debts, making sure that the revenue that's being generated is accounted for appropriately. It may be just putting in place a particular project that you're in charge of and making sure that you're accounting for the costs and allocating those appropriately. Maybe just for a research and development grant, maybe it's just for internal accounting purposes and the like. And that's well in addition to the typical roles that people might do in accounting and bookkeeping, such as being a BAS agent, payroll officer, administration officer, and the like. But I'll go one step further. If you're starting a small business, you need those skills. If your partner is part of a business, then you can no better way to support than making sure tax is lodged appropriately, accounts are done, receipts are accounted for, and that the chart of accounts really makes sense so that you can analyse costs associated with revenue. So look, the list goes on, but if I was to say what makes a really robust professional in today's world, I would say accounting is a fundamental skill, project management is another fundamental skill, and business acumen, a business course of some description, is a fundamental skill. But the accounting and bookkeeping is one area really which is overlooked to some extent. But if you've got the skills here, then you've got the skills to be a leader or a manager in any organisation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mark. Now, we'll get a deep dive back into the course itself, or I think some of the advantages of the course by way of industry associations. And we've had a couple of questions come in about apprenticeships and jobs that are available through the accounting and bookkeeping, and how one might actually pick up a job, or are there apprenticeships available? Association and memberships are really a crucial part of that puzzle. Iona, I'm going to hand on over to you to talk to us about some of these associations and the benefits that they offer to students who are, in fact, studying the accounting and bookkeeping qualification.
Okay, I'll just start off by addressing the traineeships question. Mentor Education doesn't offer traineeships with this course, but there are a number of avenues for people who are wanting to enter the accounting and bookkeeping industry, and there are always a large amount of opportunities that are advertised via the employment sites such as Indeed or Seek or similar. So I'd encourage students who are looking for entry opportunities to actually not just go down that path and look at those opportunities, but also to take up the opportunity of joining the professional associations that also do make opportunities available through their websites and their newsletters to students who are seeking work as well. So we've aligned with two main industry associations for this course. So there's the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers, which provides students with a wide range of benefits, and not just in terms of a newsletter, but the resources that are available to students through the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers, you will go back to again and again and again throughout your bookkeeping and accounting career. There is the Good Bookkeeping Guide, which provides detailed knowledge of the more technical aspects of taxation, for example. and you're able to go back and access that at any time. You're able to network with other industry professionals. They provide a range of continuing professional education opportunities, and every year they're involved in the Global Day of Bookkeeping, and they provide, as part of a celebration for global bookkeeping, they provide a range of free industry related information sessions and training sessions as well. So it's a great organisation to actually be a member of. And as students enter our course, they're able to actually, from the landing page on the course, go through to apply for membership of the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. The Institute of Public Accountants provides students with, again, a range of support resources that are invaluable to us professionally. I am a member of both of these organisations, and so every week there is an opportunity for students to actually be involved in a professional education session. And you also have access to the IPA's magazine and the Accounting Digital Hub, which provides copies of templates, for example, of documents that you might need to produce in different forums and in different contexts with workplaces. The other thing that both industry associations do is provide opportunities for networking, as I said before, with some of the top accounting companies and individuals in Australia. So I would encourage every student that enrolls in the course to take up membership of the ICB, and toward the end of their course, take up membership with the Institute of Public Accountants.
And the means by which to do this is, of course, made available to students when they enrol, and clear instructions are given and things like that.
Oh, most definitely. As students log into their course for the first time, they'll see on the landing page a link to the memberships page, so they can undertake to enrol or subscribe to become a member of both organisations.
Fantastic. So certainly the association memberships not only provide a great networking opportunity, but access to some great resources. And look, I dare say learning material as well, which we're going to dive into right now. So Mentor obviously provides a whole range of learning material for students to obviously work through in order to equip them with the skills and knowledge, but then so do the associations. Talk to us a little bit about the learning material that's provided by Mentor, Iona. Okay,
so students are provided with all of the learning materials that they need to complete the course. They're provided with learner guides for each unit. They're provided with additional reading, the materials for self-directed learning activities. They're also provided with MyOb software and the exercise files to complete the exercises as part of their course and part of their course learning. And and students also have the option to take up online live tutorials as part of their enrollment. Some students don't choose to take that up and they choose to just study online without those tutorials, but the option is there for students, and we encourage students to actually take up the option of those live tutorials. So students in this course that do subscribe to the live tutorials actually have access to a live trainer every week. And the other thing that's provided in learning materials is templates, for example, videos, podcasts in a couple of units. So there's a wide variety of learning material that students will actually experience as they move through each part of the course.
Excellent. Now, I will take this opportunity to say for everybody who's tuned in tonight, we are making special enrolment fees available for the tutorials stream of the accounting and bookkeeping, and I'll provide some details of that towards the end of tonight's session. But yeah, look, certainly the live tutorials is very, very exciting, and it's not just an opportunity to interact with the lecturer or the tutor, but also the cohort of students that you're going through with.
Most definitely. It's a great experience. Students that enroll will actually come across me in some of those tutorials where I lead some of the more technical units, and from my experience with the students in the course, it not only provides students an opportunity to explore their units of study, but it's also a great opportunity to build networks with other students. So you're actually starting to build your professional network as you're studying. And we tend to find that a lot of students enjoy that atmosphere of being able to not just learn, but to actually get to know other people who are going to be working in the same industry as they are. So live tutorials are a great benefit to anybody who's wanting to study the course.
Excellent. So we've got the tutorials, but let's talk about the learning management system, or the LMS as they call it. Up here, we've got an example of one of the courses we've got available. Talk us through what's going on up here, Iona.
Okay, so this is one of my favourite subjects. Our learning management system is actually structured in such a way that it's like a book. So to move through your course, you literally start at the front page and you open up your front page, which is the overview of the course, and then you move through each part of the book. So if you can imagine a big thick book with different sections about different topics, that's how our learning management system works. So there's a table of contents, and as you move down the table of contents, you move through each unit that you're actually studying. So it's in a sequence. So it's very comfortable. At the bottom of the screen, students can actually see how far they've got. We can just see on the screen here that this student that we've taken a screenshot of is actually 27.7% through their unit of study. So it actually tells you how far you've got. And we tend to find that people like to know, you know, just how much more there is left to do in this unit. So we also in the learning management system have discussion forums available for students so they can share information and get to know each other. And they can, excuse me, contact faculty through the learning management system. So the learning management system provides an environment where a student can learn, and all of their learning happens inside the learning management system. So if there's a video to watch, it's watched inside the learning management system. You don't have to close it and go out and go somewhere else to watch it and then come back. If you want to read something in your textbook, you actually click on the text name and it will open up the textbook inside the learning management system for you. So you're able to actually work with your texts throughout the course. Excuse me. So yes, it's actually a holistic environment where students access all of their learning materials. And I will say, though, in this course, there is one disclaimer there, and that is your MyOb software. And you'll install that on your own computer, and it's your own copy of it. And so that is really the only time that you will actually go in and out of the learning management system, unless you're doing a research task for an assessment task. That's it. Yeah, it's a great way to learn, and it's portable. You can take it anywhere. You're reading in your textbooks from the learning management system. You can open and read on a tablet, on your mobile phone. We do suggest, though, for assessment tasks that those are actually done on a laptop or on a desktop computer for obvious reasons, with using Word and creating documents and things like that, or utilising your MyOb software. So yes, all of your reading is portable, and a number of your activities as well.
Okay, great. Now, look, with the MyOb software, Iona, do I have to go and get a full version, or is a student version available to me?
No, there's what is called an accounting starter pack is available to you inside your course. Mm-hmm. So, and included in that starter pack is all of the software that you need and your exercise files for completing any of the assessment tasks in the course.
Okay, great. Now, Mark, I'm going to hand on over to you to talk to us a little bit about the online learning experience. Okay, so other than, say, a laptop or a tablet or even a phone these days and a robust internet connection, I mean, how much is the online learning experience, I suppose, changing the landscape with respect to upskilling and qualifications these days?
Well, look, online is the way to go. Look, we're going through a seismic shift at the moment in terms of online delivery, people wanting to be able to be self-paced, learn when they can at the most effective time for them. We've been a big proponent or fan of online learning right from our inception. So really, in 2003, we really were working and starting that process. And look, at the end of the day, it's that we know best when we're ready to study, and if we have the right tools and we can actually utilize our time effectively, then we can actually get really good outcomes and put them in with our lives. So, you know, if you've got young children, but you're available between 7 and 9, well, that's the time you study. If you're on public transport or in a car and you want to listen to some of the videos that are there, that's when you do that particular process. So the thing with online learning is twofold. One, the learning resources need to be really good with clear instructions that are easy and logical and tried and tested. And one of the things that we do, of course, with our large teaching team is that we actually go through each course, we take on board feedback we get from students, we incorporate that, and really over time and continuous improvement have refined our delivery of our programs so that they're really effective and intuitive. So that's number one. And number two, when you do need support, it's available. You can email us, book a time, speak to one of our educators. But more than that, you have the opportunity to participate, if you like, in other support, such as online tutorials and the like. And I know we'll talk more about that later on, but look, at the end of the day, flexible learning that you can do as fast or as slowly as you like, that you can fit in with your workloads, that you can pause when you've got a major project, they're the things that make a real big difference.
Great. Okay, now this brings us on to our next slide, which is an absolute favourite among students. Anybody who's considering doing a course of any description always wants to know about the assessments, okay? And it's very timely that it comes up because we've got a question here about due dates for assignments. So, Iona, handing on over to you, talk to us a little bit about the assessments. When are the assignments due? What sort of assignments can I expect? All that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm just going to start from the outset, and I'm going to say that all these things are not in every assessment. Okay, that list looks very, very scary when we open it up and we see it like that. Assessments vary because each different unit in the course might have different tasks that are available. You might do a mixture of multiple choice questions, a case study response, a project. You might be asked to create a portfolio and collect up a number of documents and then create one of your own and then reflect on that process. There might be a practical demonstration, which in this course there isn't. You might actually be asked to keep a journal, and a journal might simply be a number of PowerPoint slides where you actually keep notes, and you actually keep a professional development journal, for example, over the period of your study in the unit. So commonly there is usually a mix of any one of 2 or 3 of these types of assessment tasks in every unit. Self-directed learning activities occur in all units, and for the accounting specific units, the self-directed learning activities are actually utilizing your software and doing exercises. So you may be creating invoices, you may be sending invoices, you might do a bank reconciliation, but all the way through you'll actually be utilizing your accounting software also in this course. This course has what is known as a capstone or a final assessment, where all of the work that you've done throughout the course using your MyOb software comes together in your company file, of course. You save your company file and as your capstone assessment to demonstrate that you can undertake all of these tasks, as well as your written tasks in each unit of study. You will actually submit your company file as your capstone or final assessment. So there are, as I said before, there's a range of assessment tasks. due dates for assessments. This course is self-paced. So as students complete their learning and complete their self-directed learning activities, and they attempt their assessment after they've worked through the elements for each unit, they then will complete their assessment and lodge their assessment. There is no actual due dates for assessment. It is all self-paced, and it is as a student completes their learning in each unit.
Okay, excellent. Now, a question's come in. What happens, worst case scenario, I don't get it completely right and I need to resubmit my assignment?
In which case, we will provide you with feedback and detailed feedback. If it would, of course, depend on the individual and the individual circumstances. So there's a number of things that might happen if you've been asked to resubmit an assessment task. So you'll be contacted by your trainer or by the educator for your faculty that you're studying with, and you'll be given specific instructions. So you might actually be asked to complete, resubmit the professional development plan because what you've done is write a personal development plan, for example. And in which case, it would only be that task from the assessment that you would be asked to resubmit, not the whole assessment. And because there is no due date requirement and it is self-paced, of course, once you had resubmitted that and it had been remarked, you would be able to move on to the next unit.
Okay, great. Now, talking about timeframes, 6 months to complete the course?
We find that most students complete the course in 6 months. Some students complete the course much sooner because it is self-paced. A lot of we say 6 months because on average, most students, when they're studying in a self-paced course, are able to often have other commitments. So they're able to commit around about 15 to 20 hours to the course. So obviously, if you were able to commit 35 or 40 hours to the course, you may complete the course earlier. If you could only, say, do one afternoon on your coursework, you might take 12 months to complete the course. The 6 months is usually the duration for the course, but if it does take students longer, extension times are available, and students just need to contact us and tell us that they need some type of consideration if they need extensions of time.
Okay, great. Now, student support available on the phone Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Certainly email just about any time of day. But what are some of the, I suppose, the best practices or processes that students can use to engage with that support? And do they have one tutor assigned to them, or are there multiple team members who can get involved and help them out along the way?
Okay, similar to most education institutions, students may have 3 tutors, or they may have 2. They may have a tutor per unit. So we suggest that if students are needing additional support or they have questions that they would really like to share with us and explore with us, that they send an email through to service@mentor.edu.au, and in the subject line they put the unit code, the unit name, and their name, and and write please assist, or I need help, or oh no, I just can't do it, somebody help, please, 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 please help. I have seen all of those in the subject line, I promise you. And you'll be contacted by a trainer who'll support you with whatever your need is as far as your learning is concerned. Some students actually will raise questions in the live tutorials, which are weekly, and we encourage students there is a question time that's made available. So for students that are wanting additional support and that feel comfortable and happy to raise questions in an online tutorial, yes, those tutorials are available. Students actually rotate over 6 months through the tutorials for each unit 3 times. So we suggest that no matter where you are at the course, to actually attend the tutorials, because it provides a good basis for those students who haven't reached the units yet, or those students that have completed the units and they're about to start the next one. So it's always a good refresher as well, because the course is structured in such a way with those online tutorials that the learning that you've done in previous units is worth reviewing before you move on to the next one anyway, because it actually provides you with that foundation knowledge to move into the new topic. So there is, as I said, a lot of support available for students. The most important thing for students to do, though, is let us know that you need support.
Excellent, excellent. And that's, look, I think a very big part of it these days, when you consider that people aren't always just studying full-time either. You know, really it is juggling life. You know, life's happening all the time. So friends, family, work, squeezing study in between, I mean, that need for support can really be there.
Well, it can be quite daunting. We enroll in a course and there's all these strange words and terms and, you know, and where do you actually start and which bit do you read first and all of the rest of it. Look, our student support team are more than happy to speak with you. If you call in and make a time with them, they'll happily demonstrate the learning management system for students. It's really, again, it's really just a matter of letting us know that if you are overwhelmed at any time, if you do need additional support, if you need an explanation for something, we can't know something until we do know it. So we all need explanations for things at some point, especially in our learning. And we should never be afraid to say, hey, you know, can somebody explain to us what that term means? You know, what is a vendor software requirement? Let's face it. You know, and so it's just a matter of letting us know. Just communicate with us and utilize those phone numbers. Utilize that the service at mentor.edu.au email address, and we're always there to support you with your studies.
Excellent, thank you very much. Now, we've got the founder, Dr. Mark, with us today, and you've been delivering education qualifications in the business, finance, accounting space for over 17 years now. And I think in response to that, we've put together a series of frequently asked questions that come through from our students. And if you'd be kind enough to take us through those, I'll guide you through. The first one being, of course, can I get government funding, and what payment plans and options are available to me there?
Okay, thanks, James. Hey, look, we don't do government funding for our students, and we don't do it for a number of reasons, but the main one is that we really want to provide with cost-effective courses to our students. So sometimes the government funding is available, and it could be in the form of a student loan as well, but quite often the price point that you have to pay back in that student loan is actually greater than the courses we offer. So we've really focused on making sure that we provide value for money courses that are effective. And, you know, and just as an example, you know, if you did, for example, for a diploma program with us, usually that allows you enough credits to enter into the second year of a bachelor's program. And we're probably 1/10 of the cost. So, you know, a one-year bachelor's program might be a, you know, $12,000 amount of money, and you can do that on a student loan, which is government supported. But, you know, our programs, equivalent programs, would be $1,200 to $1,400 for that particular program. So just really out of principle, we focus on affordable courses that are providing jobs in demand. And that's particularly important for the diploma, advanced diploma programs that provide certain credits going forward. Payment plan options, we do provide those. We allow payments over a year period if needed. They're a little bit more expensive than than paying for the course up front. But again, because our programs are cost effective, it's an alternative way to do it, and we do encourage that. And we particularly if funds are in short supply. But again, it's they're cost-effective programs, and students choose to go for the payment plans, or they may go to and choose to pay for it up front. But whichever way students go, it is a cost-effective option, and we just really want to focus on value for money and those job outcomes at the end of the day.
Excellent. Yep, I can start straight away.
Yes, look, typically, once you've enrolled, within the 24 hours, you've got your login so that you can go in online and commence the work. So really, we're focused on convenience. That includes the start, includes the finish, includes when you do the assessments. But equally, we want you to ideally have a plan for how long you'd like to do it and stick to it. You might choose to do it over 6 months. You might focus on a 3-month plan. You might focus on longer than that. But the starting point is really pretty well on enrollment. It's an online program. It is intuitive. And so really, when you're ready, enroll and you can kick off pretty well instantaneously. It's all included, extra fees. Look, we've really tried very hard not to make there any extra fees and costs. We don't want any hidden surprises, because that's not what you're signing up for. You actually want to sign in and know what you're up for and progress along the process. And we make, so we really try to cover that off as well as possible. Look, there are times when, you might request additional things, and we'll deal with that and support you, but we're really not there to actually have any other costs. We want you to know what it is right from the beginning.
That's great.
Yep.
We've talked a lot about the different study options, certainly the benefits of the virtual tutorials, which are made available, or we've got the self-directed online. The course itself, is it nationally recognised? And then, say, other than a year 10, not say passing year 10, are there any prerequisites for me to get into the course?
Look, all our courses are nationally recognised with the Australian Qualification Framework. So this particular course is got a number of units of competency. Each unit of competency is recognised, and you'll get that itemised or specified within your final qualification. So look, that is really important, because it's important for a number of ways. One, that the qualification you get at the end of the day is recognised by employers, because this is about job outcomes for you, or improving your business, or whatever it might be. And it's nationally recognised from that point of view, but it also builds on pathways, so that if you do a Certificate 4, then what the units of competency that you've attained there are then recognised if you should go on to do a diploma. And a number of those unit of competencies might be in common, so therefore you're exempted from actually doing that in the diploma. If you go on to the advanced diploma, the work you've done in the diploma is recognised. And that's important if you do want a pathway ultimately into a university qualification, because again, the national qualification or recognition is recognised by universities, other training providers and the like. So look, that's a really important component and something we really work on. And that point there about prerequisites, well, some qualifications like this one are open entry, and I talked before about a year 10 equivalent at school, but a prerequisite for the diploma of accounting would, the Cert 4 would have prerequisites there. And if you went on to the advanced diploma, there are prerequisites. So you can't just start the advanced diploma. This is the right starting point if you want to develop as an accountant, as a bookkeeper, and then build your qualifications thereon.
Okay, great. And how long do people usually take to finish this particular course?
Well, look, on average, it is a 6-month mark. We do see people do it a lot quicker. It depends a little bit about your motivation and your time commitment. Like some people know that they've got a job if they've started the qualification, if they've completed it, and they're really working towards doing that. Depends what your other commitments are. But equally, you can take longer, right? So you just have to talk to us about it. We're really focused on your study goal or your education pathway that you've identified, and helping you achieve that, those particular goals. And that's the number one thing. And look, most people are focused on the employment outcome, being future work ready. But that outcome could just be a pay rise. It could be moving from being in a team to a team leader. It could be a new role altogether, or it could be starting your own business. And what we find is, depending on your goal, is you'll align the time it takes to do that. And look, doing it faster is not necessarily the best outcome. You know, you may really want to apply it in your organisation. I'm going to do the payroll unit, and then I'm going to actually do the payrolls for all my staff, or for my team, or I'm going to check it, or I'm going to be involved in that process. You may want to consolidate that learning over time. So speed's there if it's important for you as an outcome, but equally, really bedding it down and consolidating as you go, because you've got a reason for doing it. So let's help you achieve it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, we've just got a couple of questions, which I'll hand on over to you and Iona. But before I do, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's attended tonight's student information session. For those who have stuck with us the whole time, I've got some good news, and particularly for those who are looking at taking advantage of the virtual tutorials with the added support. So normally the enrolment fee for the virtual tutorials is $1,250, but tonight, just exclusively for those who attended the webinar, we're making that available for $1,100 or $1,100. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, make sure you contact either myself or your dedicated course education advisor between now and close of business this Friday, being the 24th of July. Okay, so there's an opportunity to save about $150 there. So the virtual tutorial is certainly worth getting on. Those added support, we've talked a lot about them. Certainly something that we're very passionate about. But yeah, $1,100 between now and Friday, if that's something that you're looking at doing. Now, a question that's come in, and that's about pathway. So once I finish the Certificate 4, what would be the next course that I go on to after that? Iona.
Excuse me, just a quick qualifying cough there, James. Let's talk pathways. So the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping will actually provide you with 4 credits for your unit of studies in your Diploma of Accounting. It is one of the prerequisite qualifications for entry into the Diploma of Accounting. So it means that there is no additional units to complete other than the course to actually enter into the Diploma of Accounting. In terms of the pathway, the Diploma of Accounting then in turn provides an additional 4 units credit into an Advanced Diploma of Accounting. For students that have completed the diploma and so the Certificate 4 Diploma and Advanced Diploma of Accounting, they're able to apply to a number of universities to receive a credit for the first 12 months of an undergraduate course. So they actually enter its second year. So for students that only complete a Diploma of Accounting, they're able to enter and have a 6-month credit given from provided against their course. And that is not in all courses, that is only in the courses that specific institutions recognise. So there is a lot of value in the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping for students that want to go on, that want to work as management accountants, or are studying towards working as practice accountants. So that combined with participation in industry events and continuing professional education provides a true benefit for students whose longer term goal is completing a course at a higher education institution, so university or similar.
Okay, great. Now, another question's come in, and that's what if you've worked in the industry for the last 12 months? Okay, you do some of the units daily at work. Can we show our work as some of the assessments? For example, doing bank reconciliations with MYOB.
We actually do have 2 pathways for us, or two different types of assessments, if you like. Students that have a work experience, for example, are able to actually apply for recognition of prior learning, or we actually require students to complete the actual assessments in the course. We ask students to complete the assessments because The course is assessed against a number of things as far as a nationally accredited qualification is concerned. So that's why we have those specific assessment tasks. So the alternative for a student that was wanting to go down that path would be recognition of prior learning. And we're happy to work with any student that has work experience or is currently employed in a role where it takes up accounting and bookkeeping to make a determination for recognition of prior learning. We're more than happy to work with you to do that.
Great. So it really is a case-by-case basis though, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it very much is, yes.
Excellent. Okay, well, look, that brings us to the end of tonight's presentation. So, Mark and Ina, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, James. It's been great being here. And thank you, Mark, for joining in today.
Great.
And thank you, of course, to everybody else who's joined us tonight on a Tuesday night here. We hope you got plenty out of it. And as I said, if you do want to take advantage of the $1,100 tutorials enrolment special fee, just mention that you attended tonight's webinar with your educational advice consultant, and they'll make that happen for you, but it has to be done between now and close of business on Friday. So for more information, everybody, head on over to mentor.edu.au, or feel free to send us an email direct, and we look forward to catching up with you all again soon.
And I look forward to seeing you all in tutorials. Thanks, James. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.